So good morning and welcome to the first public policy speaker event of 2024 featuring the legislators of the 1st and 2nd districts. My name is Glenn Davila. I'm the president of performance marketing and the chairman of the Southern New Jersey Development Council. This program is a product of our excellent government affairs team, and you're going to hear from our co-chairs a little while later this morning. So first, let's start with a pledge of allegiance. Please join me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I want to thank Senator Testa, Assemblywoman Swift, and Assemblyman Guardian and McClellan for taking the time to join us here and talk to our membership. It's very exciting to have them here. So let's start by thanking those people without whom we couldn't do an event like this, and those are our terrific sponsors, starting with our presenting partner, PSE&G Nuclear, Jim Gilroy. Our host sponsors, we'll clap after. Our host sponsors, New Jersey American Water, Abby Barksdale and Dave Mayer. New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program, Peter Connolly, CEO. Stokes Creative Group, can't have an event without these guys. Our photographer and our videographer, Christian and Steve. Our supporting sponsors, Atlantic County Utilities Authority, Matt Donafo. French and Perillo Associates, Brian DeCinia. Inspira Health, Michelle Marshall. And we also have some other legislators and partners that we'd like to acknowledge. Gloucester Township Mayor Dave Mayer, Commissioner Joyce Molyneux of the New Jersey Casino Control Commission, New Jersey State Chamber of Commerce Mike Egginton, Cape May Chamber of Commerce Barbara Stafford Jones, Deptford Councilman Ken Barnshaw, Stockton President Dr. Joe Bertolino, who I saw here a minute ago. He's around here somewhere. There he is. And of course, our generous host, Cape Atlantic Community College. Here today we have Daniel Money from the Cape Board of Trustees, and of course, Dr. Barbara Gaba, who I would like to turn our program over to. So just a brief introduction of Dr. Gaba. Thank you. Dr. Gaba was appointed the 9th president of Atlantic Cape Community College in January 2017. Her vision for the college is to become the region's preferred choice for higher education and professional training, and to serve as a leading catalyst for economic and workforce development. Dr. Gaba?
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and it's so good as the president of Atlantic Cape that I'm very pleased and honored that we've all come together. This is the 3rd year in a row that this event has been sponsored here, and we're so glad to have everyone here today. And again, I'd also like to say special thanks to Marlena Selta, president of the SNJDC, for inviting us to host this event, and also our esteemed legislators from our District 1 and District 2. And this, as I mentioned before, is the 3rd year in a row that we're hosting and having you here, so we're very, very glad about that. And also I'd like to acknowledge, as already been acknowledged, our Board of Trustee member, Daniel Money, who is here with us today. And today's convening will provide us an opportunity to discuss the items or the issues that matter to all of us, including economic health and the growth of the region. Before we begin today, I'd just like to provide you some key updates of what we're doing here at the college, because I know several of you have asked me. As the first institution of higher education in both Atlantic and Cape May counties, we will be celebrating our 60th anniversary this year in the month of April. So be prepared, 60 years strong, and we're still going. We have our 3 campuses here at Mays Landing, Cape May County, and also in Atlantic City we have a presence. We offer 47 associate degree programs, as well as dozens of online courses, short-term certificates, continuing education programs, and career and basic skills education, community education, and customized workforce training. We are most proud of our university partnerships and our relationships with 20 partner high schools throughout Atlantic and Cape May counties. We currently have signed university partnerships with Stockton University, the Advanced and Continuing Studies degree in Liberal Studies, Thomas Jefferson University for various health sciences degrees, Rowan University's engineering degree transfer program. In addition, as you probably know, Rutgers University is located right here on our campus, and we have a very, very strong partnership with our 4-year institutions, giving our students many options as to where they want to continue their education after they leave with us. Also, we partner with high schools, and we're able to, where students are able to earn affordable credit opportunities in over 250 dual credit courses, allowing students to seamlessly transfer to academic programs and career pathways here at Atlantic Cape. Last year, we had 55 high school students who earned both their associate's degree and their high school diploma at the same time. So I'm so proud to say that we've always worked very effectively with our partners throughout Atlantic County and Cape May County, including local workforce development boards, chambers of commerce, high schools, community, government, and business entities as we tailor our workforce development and degree programs to ensure that we are providing the necessary skills for in-demand careers in the future. For example, our popular culinary arts program continues to train future chefs who are critical to the success of the hospitality industry in Atlantic City and throughout Atlantic and Cape May counties. Our Casino Career Institute was founded in 1978 and just recently celebrated its 45th anniversary in October. The CCI offers dealer training, surveillance, game protection training, and has graduated over 50,000 students since its inception. So with that said, we are very, very proud of the work that we are doing in Atlantic and Cape May counties. Last spring, let me tell you about what was happening in Cape May County. Last spring, in Cape May County, the college was awarded $1 million in congressionally directed spending from Congressman Van Drew's office to create the Biz Hub. Located on our Cape May County campus, the Biz Hub is a small business resource center developed to address the unique needs of Cape May County residents, as well as others interested in exploring opportunities in a pro-business community offering a great quality of life. This entrepreneurial resource center provides training, mentoring, coaching, a resource repository, networking, and many more opportunities for business owners in Cape May County and elsewhere in our region as they navigate and try to grow their businesses. The center also offers special outreach programs to women, minority, and veteran-owned businesses to give them the support they need to start to grow their businesses and to grow their businesses even further. Let me tell you about a project we have going in Atlantic City. In 2017, Atlantic County was proud to be designated as an anchor institution in Atlantic City. As an anchor institution, we are vital to the improvement of the health, well-being, and economic success of the communities that we serve. We have a very important project going on in Atlantic City right now, the Inlet Neighborhood Development Project, and that's being housed at our Atlantic City campus, and it brings together neighborhood residents, civic leaders, businesses to communicate an inclusive vision for the Inlet neighborhood in Atlantic City. As a part of the community outreach initiative in May, we were awarded, the Inlet Neighborhood Project was awarded $560,000 through the Department of Community Affairs. So everyone here at Atlantic Cape is committed to meeting the needs of our students, the residents we serve, and our local and business leaders. We appreciate the support of our community and our state leaders, our legislators, for the work we do here at the college. So on that note, again, thank you to the Southern New Jersey Development Council, Marlene Selter, for your work and bringing us all together again for the third time as we continue to work to support workforce development and to strengthen our local economy. So again, thank you very much. We're very, very happy to see all of you with us today. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Anyone who is standing on the side, there's actually an entire table of seats over here if anyone wants to scamper over here. Good morning. My name is Marshall Spivak. It's a pleasure to be the co-chair of the Government Affairs Committee along with my friend Gina Sullivan from ELEC 825. I bring greetings, of course, from Marlene Selta, our Development Council President. Unfortunately, Marlene's just a little bit under the weather this morning, so she's at home. This meeting is an event of the Government Affairs Committee, and we have a lot of members of the Government Affairs Committee here. Thank you. Of course, if you want to be a member of the Government Affairs Committee, also please feel free to let myself or Ben or anyone from the staff know. Just a few quick notes. Unfortunately, Senator Palestina was called out of town and is, of course, unable to be here. And Assemblyman Simonson also had an emergency this morning, so he was also unable to attend. But with that said, we have plenty of time to hear from our great legislators who are here, and so we'll get the program started. We've asked each legislator to talk briefly about their priorities as they relate to business and economic development here in South Jersey. We're obviously at the beginning of a brand new session, with a brand new legislature. I think there's about 37 new members of the Assembly and the Senate that have entered this new legislative session. So there's going to be a lot of learning and a lot of interest from a lot of new members about what goes on down here in South Jersey. So this is a perfect time to hear from our incumbent legislators who have just been reelected. We'll start with the 2nd legislative district, one of my favorite districts. I'm a little biased. I spent almost 5 years as a legislative staffer in LD2. So we'll start with the 2nd district and Assemblywoman Claire Swift, who is just now starting her 2nd term representing the 2nd district of Atlantic County. And Assemblywoman Swift serves on the Labor Committee and the State and Local Government Committee. Assemblywoman?
All right. Good to be here today. Let's see if I can take this out. 'Cause I know Mike Test is going to, there we go. I know Mike's going to want to walk around the room with this one. Thank you so much for having us here today. I was just telling Dr. Barbara Gaba that 2 years ago, we were all sitting in here with masks on, so we've come a long way. You know, I just want to thank everybody for being here and supporting this event. Yes, Don Guardian, Vince Palestina, and I have just won our 2nd term. We did very well, and thank you for your support. And we are going to continue to, you know, vote on legislation that is going to help the business community. As stated by Marshall Spivak, I have just been re-nominated to be on the Labor Committee again, and also State and Local Government, which I think will help South Jersey. I don't know if you saw on the press of Atlantic City, but our team was able to pass 3 bills last week. A bill to help with CREDA, the municipal courts, and covering insurance for hearing aids for children. And I want to throw one more bill in there that was actually my bill. It was a child tax credit bill that also got passed. Somehow or another, the bill that I submitted got flipped upside and someone else's name went on there. But that was my bill. So, you know, all the working parents out there that pay for childcare, that is now going to be a child tax credit on your tax returns. You know, South Jersey is a very unique place. I'm born and raised here. I graduated from Atlantic City High School, went to college at University of Pennsylvania and law school in Delaware. But I came back here during law school because I believed in South Jersey. I knew this was going to be a great place to live and work and raise your children. And we've gone through some challenging times. I was just talking to Chris Mooney from Surety Title Company that, you know, housing is a big issue here in South Jersey. People want to move down here. You know, families want to move down here, and, you know, it might be good to have more 55 and older communities because some of us are pushing 50. Not all of us, just some of us. And, you know, we need more housing down here because if the 55 and older go into a community, then families can go and buy their houses because, you know, who wants to rake leaves and, you know, fix roofs? So, you know, moving into this session, we want to do more community outreach. So if you have any activities that you think that would be helpful for us, please reach out to our legislative office. My Chief of Staff, Sarah Walsh, is here. Please reach out to us because we want to do everything we can to help South Jersey, make it a good working environment, get families here, and do what's right. And before Don Guardian speaks, and he's got a lot more to talk about than me, I just want you to know that we did vote for the budget the last 2 years, and we took a little bit of pushback for that, but we believe that that was what was right for Atlantic County. It brought in millions of dollars for Stockton University, Atlantic Care, money for roads and bridges, the boardwalk. I mean, the Atlantic City boardwalk, you know, say what you want, but that is our bread and butter. And as long as that boardwalk is here and that Atlantic Ocean is here, people are going to still want to come. So I just want to thank you all for your support. And if you have any questions, please let us know.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. There's going to be plenty of time for Q&A after all the legislators have spoken. Next, we'll go to Assemblywoman Swift's district mate, Assemblyman Guardian, Don Guardian. Obviously no stranger to anyone here, as the former mayor of the great city of Atlantic City from 2014 to 2018. The new recently appointed Assistant Minority Whip, congratulations, and also a member of the Labor Committee with Assemblywoman Swift. and a member of the Assembly Tourism, Gaming, and the Arts Committee, which finally, after a very long absence, has a new chairman who is here from South Jersey as well. So that has swung back to the South Jersey delegation as well. So, Assemblyman Guardian, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be here. Claire, you mentioned 50 and things like that. So I can tell you from experience that being in my 20s in the 70s was a lot more fun than being 70 in the 20s. I am so happy to be second. Usually I'm sixth. So I got the two senators that speak, and then I've got the guys from Cape May speaking, and then I have Claire, and then I've got to figure out what they didn't say. So it's nice being a number two. Just talk about last year. I think the issues remain the same. People feel that they're overburdened with costs. They're having trouble making ends meet. They think taxes are too high. So I was glad to agree and vote for a number of items in this year's budget. The $1,500 for the second year, going back to families that make less than $350,000 a year, another $300 if you're over 65. That's real money in people's pockets. That's not, you know, the 1% reduction in your school tax and things. I'm happy to see $100 million go for boardwalks in New Jersey. I think Wildwoods, the Ocean City, and Atlantic City have all put in applications. I think we'll see a good chunk of that funding going to those boardwalks, and that's money that can be used from the federal government to the state rather than for the property taxpayers right there. 2.5% corporate tax. Sunsetted in December. I think it's critical that we keep that. I will certainly be voting no for any opportunity to keep that going. We got to just, you know, live within our means. And coming from Atlantic City, if you remember 10 years ago, having a $600 million deficit, I learned how not to spend money. So I will do my best here, but I think there are important issues that we have to address. I'm glad to see also that Atlantic County received $200 million in this year's budget. That's money we don't normally get. So, you know, $70 million is just for raising and doing work on Route 40. $10 million went to the hospital. I think we're about $7 million went to the Volunteers of America for community outreach. Another $3 million went for anti-violence in Atlantic City. Another $30 million to Atlantic City with DCA to find what programs would work there. Because of crime, 30 police officers are going to receive 50% of the funding, new police officers for Atlantic City as well. So I think they're all important issues going forward. I was hoping that all of those bills that I really liked but no one had the guts to vote for was actually going to come up before us in a lame duck session, but they didn't. I can tell you that you know, I was happy to vote against my pay raise if I manage to be here in 2 years, not because I don't think that it's worthwhile, I just don't think I have the right to determine my salary. You may, but not me. I do think there were 3 bills that Claire and I had sponsored, co-sponsored, that we were happy to see get passed. One was we were very proactive about communities joining together, municipalities, to do a court because it would save money and would provide better services. But one of the glitches there was if you received a ticket from a state trooper or from a sheriff, and it wasn't in one of the towns that was paying for those services, we were handling those cases as well. So we didn't get the funding, but those 10 towns had to pay the bills. That came to 10,000 cases, so you get an idea. So that's a bill that says, no, it can't go like that. It has to go back to the community where the crime was actually committed and things. We also had 2 other bills that we were excited about, giving police officers the right, once again, to be able to stop juveniles that are drinking and being able to give them a ticket and actually tell their parents. So we were glad to see that go through as well. Coming forward, I'm excited to see where our budget is going. As a member of the minority party, I've never been in the majority party in my life, so I don't know what it's like. Everyone says, what's it like? I don't know. I've always been on this side, but luckily, Claire and I both have had a great relationship with our legislators, not only in South Jersey, but in North Jersey, and Democrats as well as Republicans. And both of us have learned that most of the time we can't put our name on a bill, but we can certainly push a bill and give it to someone else and get it passed. And if it's good for South Jersey, that's what we're really interested in. I'm always happy to be at Atlantic Cape Community College. Doctor, you've done a marvelous job in making sure that the college continues to change to provide those skill sets that even businesses don't realize we're going to need in the future. And two of the programs that you've done, particularly with new buildings, I applaud you for. It's really good to see that. And then having the tie-in with both Rutgers and Stockton is important. I realize that we've got to make sure that your funding doesn't get cut, because you're a critical part, especially for the poorest of our families, to make sure they have the same opportunities. Likewise with Stockton and stuff like that. You're our baby and things. We're going to do everything we can to help you stay strong. We applaud you again for the programs that you're providing. I'm going to stop talking so there's something left for the other guys, and then I'll be happy to answer questions afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman Guardian. We'll move on to our legislators from the 1st District. We'll start with Assemblyman McClellan, who is now in his 3rd term here in the legislature and is a Deputy Minority Leader in the Assembly. He serves on the Appropriations Committee, the Public Safety Committee, as well along with Assemblyman Guardian of the Tourism, Gaming, and the Arts Committee. Assemblyman?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Always a pleasure to be here, and for the 3rd time, it's awesome to come and speak and to see the growth that's happening in the real South Jersey. And it's a great partnership that we now have with our District 2 mates. There's nothing that goes by us that we don't talk about. And that's the great thing about it. So know that you have strong leadership here in the real South Jersey, and that's what we call it, the real South Jersey. Because some people seem to think that South Jersey starts in Trenton. And now they have this crazy idea there's a Central Jersey. There's no Central Jersey. It's either south, north, or south. And we're in the South, we're in the deep South, but we are fighting in Trenton, and they recognize that. So just remember that and know that we are fighting. Assemblyman Guardian failed to mention that his first bill got passed with the CRDA, which he fought long and hard for, and I was glad to be a co-sponsor on that bill. That the CRDA is a big thing in Atlantic City, and it's going to help promote tourism, working with the airport, and that's very important, and we need to know that we're going to continue to fight and do what we need to do for tourism, because tourism is the hub that we have down here. And let's continue to celebrate Atlantic City despite what the mayor is doing in Atlantic City. So we'll get back to that, but we're going to continue to fight. Also, we had a bill that was able to pass that Donna mentioned, as far as we worked with the majority leader to take care of these teens that we have going on our beaches around here. And that was very important that we took care of our shore communities, let them know that we're fighting. It's not just a South Jersey problem, it was a North Jersey problem as well. So we fought hard to allow the police to do what they needed to do. And that's not just arrest kids or give tickets or anything like that, but let parents know. Because all parents need to know what their kids are doing. And all parents need to know that we're trying to protect their kids and not just give them, tickets or arrest them or anything like that. So that's the most important thing, is that the police are allowed to detain the kids, especially with the legal drinking and use of marijuana now. That's a big thing now. So we want to protect our families and make sure that parents know what their kids are doing, and the kids can rightfully so take care of that. Another bill that we were able to get passed, the senator was able to work hard for me in the Senate side, is the forfeiture bill. The forfeiture funds that go back to law enforcement agencies, particularly the prosecutor's office, when they seize assets and things of that nature, they had to fight very hard to use those dollars to go back into the community. They had to fill out an application, and sometimes that took years and it didn't make any sense. So we were able to get that passed. So those dollars that they seize from those communities can go back into those communities to promote programs and things of that nature. So that's very important, that those dollars that are being used for crazy things can go back to help support and raise our kids and make sure that they're protected. So as opposed to just buying armored vehicles and weapons and things of that nature. So that was very important, and thank you, Senator, for your good fight on that, because that was a huge thing that we were able to get through. Also, Dr. Gavin failed to mention what was going on in Cape May County ACCC. So there's now a restaurant that's opened up there that's doing lunch and breakfast there. That's very important. there's a lot of things that are going on in that Cape May County campus that. We can go whenever you want. Because it is barbecue, and you know how I love barbecue. So that is now open. So you guys, anybody that's coming down to Cape May County, make sure you stop by. And then there's also a partnership that Cape May County has with the beautiful Cape May County Park and Zoo that we have. One of the best zoos in the country is right there in Cape May County. And ACCC is partnering with them to bring programs and to teach kids. So these partnerships that Dr. Gaba is working on and developing, within our communities are huge. So don't doubt that. And I know in turn they're working with Stockton as well, and Stockton is a big part of that. So we have ACCC and Stockton working in turn to do a lot of things for our communities and promote our kids and these cooking programs and things of that nature that we're trying to promote as well, to bring culinary to our high schools so people have a ready-made job when they're graduating high school. They go right from high school, knowing how to cook, come into ACC, getting those programs and getting that profession done, and they can go wherever they want in the world with that culinary degree. So those things are very important, and we're going to continue to support as a legislator what's going on in the real South Jersey. And you did talk about our new chairman in tourism, which is Assemblyman Moen, who's a South Jersey person, and good to work with. And I know we've had many conversations with him. He cares about South Jersey, and as long as you care about South Jersey, you're going to be all right with the 6 of us. So, and that's what's the most important thing, and we're going to continue to make sure we fight for that. I am the deputy leader now, so it gives me a little bit more power, so I can get on my little Napoleon syndrome, because I'm a short guy up here. But I got a little bit of power, which makes me a little bit dangerous. So, but no, anything that you guys need out of the legislature, please don't hesitate to call us. We're going to continue to fight, but we're going to continue to celebrate, because we're getting a lot of things done here in South Jersey, the real South Jersey. So God bless you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Senator. I can concur with his comments. I took my daughter to the Cape May County Zoo 3 weeks ago, and it is a hidden gem that certainly needs more support. Last but certainly not least, Senator Mike Testa from the 1st Legislative District, a member of the Senate, elected in 2019 and sworn into the Senate in 2020. Senator Testa is the Republican whip in the Senate Republican Conference, and he serves on both the Budget and Appropriations Committee and the Judiciary Committee, arguably 2 of the most important committees in the Senate, and we're lucky to have him representing us in South Jersey here. Senator?
Marshall, one minor correction. I was actually sworn in December of 19. I had a special election, so it was a special election. So good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for having me. You would think after having all the other legislators go before me that I would not have that much to say, and you'd be sadly mistaken. I always have a lot to say, but Dr. Gaba, thank you so much for hosting this. This is really wonderful. You and I have had many conversations that I truly believe that our community colleges right here in South Jersey are going to be the pathway back for our economy, especially in the post-COVID-19 world. And what I really love about Rowan College of South Jersey and Atlantic Cape Community College, you've really adapted very quickly to what the needs are of the community, and we're working together hand in hand. One of the things that Assemblywoman Swift talked about the bills, and this is the politics that maybe you don't necessarily hear about, but I think you need to hear it. You'll have a great team like Assemblywoman Swift and possibly, Assemblyman McClellan or Simonson have a great idea for South Jersey. And it languishes for a while with their name on the bill, and then 1 or 2 words gets changed, and miraculously someone else's name is on the bill that has the opposite political affiliation. And that happens far too often, and we're not in this game for credit. We want to get the work done, and that was something that Assemblyman McClellan spoke about, that we're in this here to represent South Jersey. And South Jersey always comes first, whether you have an R next to your name or a D next to your name, but it's awfully interesting how this happens. I want to highlight one of the things that I'm most proud of in my 4 years that I've served so far is that $100 million boardwalk preservation bill. It was supposed to be originally $250 million, and it was going to be unveiled after the 2021 election with me and then Senate President Sweeney, but unfortunately things did not go as planned, and it was unable to be unveiled at that time. So it was my bill for a while with just my name on it. And guess what happens when you're in the minority party and only your name is on it? The bill doesn't move. And I was searching and searching and searching for another sponsor, and luckily Senator Sarlo picked it up. But here's where the trickery comes in. This bill was actually reserved for Assemblyman McClellan and or Assemblyman Simonson. And the majority leader in the majority party in the assembly wouldn't allow them to have it. That's how the game is played, and it's kind of silly at times when you think about it, because this was really a South Jersey initiative, and it's a $100 million boardwalk preservation fund, and it was great because, you know, obviously Senator Palestina got onto the bill as a co-sponsor, and that was really key to have everyone in South Jersey pulling in the right direction. And when you think of the economic multiplier of a $100 million bill, you know, that's all going to be so many jobs throughout the state of New Jersey in the areas that have boardwalks. And one of the things that I said to Senator Sarlo when he was so proud he's the budget chair, which I sit on the Senate Budget Appropriations Committee, and he said, you know, Senator Testa, I'm going to be the co-prime sponsor of that bill. And I said, I'll be happy to have you as co-prime as long as I don't see any boardwalks in Bergen County. If you know the state of New Jersey, you know, it's kind of strange. You don't want that to happen. There are no boardwalks in Bergen County. Although we have this crazy French museum in Jersey City. Has anybody heard about that? I've been pretty harsh about that French museum in Jersey City, and I also said that we shouldn't have a boardwalk around that, you know, around that French museum so it looks like the south of France and the Riviera. But you know, before I talk about the priorities for the next cycle, I do have to be a little bit real. And it's going to sound like doom and gloom because I do sit on the Senate Budget and Appropriations Committee, and we're really headed for a fiscal cliff that I've been warning about for quite some time in the 4 years that I've served. Since Governor Murphy took office, our budget has gone from $36 billion to over $54 billion. That's B, you know, billion with a B, folks. That's a whole lot of money. State tax collections are continuing to decline. We are already looking at a $2 billion shortfall in revenue this year. And despite having a $10 billion surplus, which quite frankly isn't really a surplus when you look at our liability side, we're going to have to cut into already a revenue shortfall. Rowan University's Public Policy Center predicts we're going to be $3 to $4 billion short annually from 2025 to 2029. There is a $1 billion deficit in the New Jersey transit system. Now, the number one priority when you talk to everyone in South Jersey, and this affects businesses, is transportation. And when New Jersey Transit appears before the Budget and Appropriations Committee, the president 2 years ago talked about this great initiative of having electric buses. I say great with quotations around it and with my tongue in my cheek. Because he talked about this initiative as if this was going to save New Jersey. And I said, excuse me, Mr. President, we don't need electric buses in South Jersey. We need buses. You know, we represent a large portion of Cumberland County. We represent all of Cape May County, which, surprise, surprise, has rural aspects to Cape May County. Atlantic County is vast. We don't have sufficient transportation to move people from point A to point B. I'm proud currently, Senator Palestina is not here, he probably would have talked about this. Senator Palestina and I are working on an initiative to get people from Cumberland County, Vineland, so that they can work in Atlantic City. Atlantic City right now has a shortfall of people who can even work in housekeeping. People don't realize those jobs are good paying jobs that provide families with multiple benefits. But guess what? They can't get there. So when I talk about New Jersey Transit, and everybody seems to think that I'm so cynical all the time, I'm not cynical, I'm a realist. We need to be able to get people to their jobs. And when you look at the unemployment rates in South Jersey, they're really high. They're really high. And Cumberland County happens to be the poorest county in the state. That is going to be an initiative that I'm really proud that I'm going to partner with Senator Palestina and our assemblymates to get that done. And it's going to get done and soon. But guess what? It's going to be done without the help of New Jersey Transit, and that's a shame. That's a shame. The Transportation Trust Fund, which funds critical road and bridge projects, is rapidly running out of money and will need to be replaced. Folks, I saw a couple Teslas in the parking lot today. They don't pay into the gas tax. There's been an end around that in the state of New Jersey. Every one of you who drives an internal combustion engine, which Governor Murphy in his infinite wisdom thinks will be done by 2035 with his energy master plan, which I call the energy disaster plan. Thanks, Jim Gilroy. I'm kidding. I was just singling him out. Thank you. But, I mean, think about that. Governor Murphy talks about the energy master plan that we're going to phase out the internal combustion engine by 2035. What does that do to our used car industry? What does that do to our fuel industry here in the state of New Jersey? I always say that, utopian ideas sometimes have dystopian results. We need to really have a check and balance system in our state, and right now, with the numbers that exist in our legislature, that check and balance system doesn't necessarily exist unless you have legislators like this fine lady and man and my assembly mates who are able to actually work across the aisle and get things done. And as Assemblyman McClellan said, fight for South Jersey, and that's what we've been doing. Here's what can happen though. It can be fixed, so I don't want to seem like I'm all doom and gloom. We have proposed curbing massive 20% aid increases to places like Newark schools, which already receive more than $1 billion in school aid, while other schools are being cut. What was Wildwood's cut this year? 50%. 50% school cut. Schools can't survive, they can't possibly budget when cuts like that come, yet Newark, we're just continuing to put money, throw more and more money at the problem. I've come up with solutions to cut nearly $1 billion of pork that's been identified, and that's being modest, folks, in our current budget. $58 million has already been spent on a French art museum in Jersey City, the Pompidou X. So other priorities for 2024, 2025. I'm the chairman of the Manufacturing Caucus, and I know that NJMEP, President Peter Connolly, was supposed to be here, but he's a sponsor of this event. That's also one of the pathways back, manufacturing in the state of New Jersey. That sign on the bridge that says Trenton makes and the world takes. We need to make that mean something again, and we really are. We have so many great manufacturers throughout the state of New Jersey, and if you take a look at the County College of Morris, they already have a manufacturing hub there, and they're working with local manufacturers. I can tell you that I'm working very hard to have a manufacturing hub right here in South Jersey that is going to work with all of our local manufacturers. And just folks, so you understand, no 4-year debt of a college debt. The average manufacturing job in the state of New Jersey with overtime and benefits is $97,000 per year. That's a living wage without carrying any 4-year debt. Obviously, we're going to continue to support breweries and small businesses. That was a bill that was passed that I can say I worked very hard on, but my name doesn't appear on. And I'm not bitter about that, it's just the reality. We're glad that we were able to get that done. And in many cases, it was too little too late. Think about this, we are so proud to be from New Jersey. New Jersey has so much potential. But this past year, Pennsylvania's official Facebook page and social media page was mocking the state of New Jersey's brewery rules and was inviting our breweries to move to their state. Many of our breweries have shut down. That's a sad thing. Those are small businesses. And for those of you who like craft beer like I do, those are like meeting places. Guess what? Many times I'll say to Assemblyman McClellan, hey, I'm traveling through here. You want to go meet at Slack Tide? Do you want to go meet at Ludlam Island? Do you want to meet somewhere? Just grab a beer, chat real quick. That's what those places have become, and unfortunately, we've hampered them. And instead of just allowing them to thrive, they're barely surviving. So I'm working in partnership with the governor's office and the EDA, see you right there, who I just met with yesterday, who wants to help us find avenues to help develop more trades right here in South Jersey. Diesel mechanics. I can tell you, I represent in my legal capacity a great company who has told me that if they were to have 35 to 40 diesel mechanics graduate tomorrow, they'd hire all of them. Think about that for a second. But there's a great need, and I'm hoping one of our community colleges, hint, hint, people in the room are going to, take on that initiative. I also want to create something, lawyers like me, we don't like to invent anything. We don't like to recreate the wheel ever. I looked at Pennsylvania. They have a great program. It's called a NIZ, a Neighborhood Improvement Zone. They've been used in Allentown to have a total revitalization of that town. I'm hoping to start an initiative with the NIZ. I have the Office of Legislative Services and our leaders in the Senate looking at that right now. I will be the prime sponsor of that bill. I'm really looking forward to that. We need infrastructure here in South Jersey. Energy-wise, and also roads. I mean, we talk about Route 55, it's been spoken about for 30+ years. There were people in the environmentalists that don't want it to happen. Former Senator Aselta, I remember, got stuck in a Jeep in the old rail bed, right, Nick? While he was trying to investigate whether Route 55 could actually come to fruition. Yeah, and that was before cell phones were really ubiquitous, and you were stuck out there for quite a while. Yeah. Yeah. He was playing Snake for a while. Those that are old enough to remember that. He was stuck in the woods playing Snake. But you think about what would happen if we had Route 55. For those of you who don't know, Cape May County is the 5th or 6th most dangerous county to evacuate in the United States of America. This is no longer a luxury to have. This is a necessity, because God forbid we are hit with one of these 100-year storms or a 500-year storm. You don't want to be running parallel to the ocean, which is what Route 9 and the Garden State Parkway do. You want to run perpendicular, which is what Route 55 will do. I'm going to close now. I've been up here a little longer than probably everyone hoped, but I do want to speak. Just the other day we visited Gandy's Beach. Has anybody ever been to Gandy's Beach or know where it is? You're shaking your head. I mean, you're a former freeholder director when we were allowed to call people freeholders, right? And so, Gandy's Beach is part of one of our Bayshore communities in Down Township. They were devastated by last storm. Devastated. We need to make sure that we're highlighting, our rural areas like Gandy's Beach, Money Island, Down Township, Commercial Township, Port Norris, Fortescue, if you know where those are. They're lovely places that I think are going to be another bastion of development, should we be allowed to. Again, sensible development. It seems like the alphabet soup of the state of New Jersey always gets in the way of sensible development. But with investment, we can stop damage from occurring every time that there is, in fact, a bad storm. I do want to thank Marlene, who couldn't be here today. I've known her for quite a long time. I know she's your cousin, right, Senator? And she does so much with her team right here at Southern New Jersey Development Council. And I just want to thank Dr. Gaba. You and your team are always wonderful. And I know how so many of the people from my home city of Vineland have graduated the culinary program here and are working in casinos and restaurants, throughout Southern New Jersey. You do such great work here. Just keep up the great work. And I truly believe that our community college system is going to be the pathway back for so many of us in this economy. And hopefully we can make sure that they continue to not just survive, but they can thrive as well. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, we do have a few minutes for some Q&A, but before we do that, I recognize that I really sort of failed to introduce myself, and I mentioned that for one reason. So typically I would come up here and tell you I'm a partner at the Advocacy Management Group. This is a Trent lobbying firm, but I've also actually taken a leave of absence there, and so many of you have come up to me and asked me. I've recently taken over as interim CEO of the Battleship New Jersey in Camden, and I think as so many of you are shaking your head, you've read our really interesting and fantastic news that the ship is going to dry dock for the first time in 32 years and will leave South Jersey, where she returned home in 2000 for the first time since then. And so it's a very big deal, and we're really looking forward to leaving here and taking the 6-mile trek down the Delaware River, hopefully sometime in mid-March. So we are, it's a $10 million project, and once the ship comes back, I'll go back to my old job. But so many of you have come up and asked me about it, and there's been such great interest about it. I didn't want to go without mentioning it. Of course, we're close to the 10 million, but not quite there yet. So if you want to be a sponsor, we appreciate that too. With that said, we do have plenty of time to have a question and answer. So if anyone has any question for any of our 4 legislators, I don't know if we have do we have a microphone? Yeah, Ben's got a microphone. And I can just pass it around. So anybody have any questions for any of the legislators? Don't all jump at once. I know someone's just got to break the ice. All right, Commissioner Molyneux.
Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
First, I want to thank Assemblywoman Swift for speaking about that child care credit. It would take a woman to think about children from that way. And I'm so glad that you bring that up of what you did, so thank you. One question to go to Don Guardian and Senator. Starting with Don Guardian. No one spoke about the wind project. I'm sort of confused on what's going on with the wind project. Because to me, it seems like it would be something, it's a vision that should happen. And nobody here is mentioning anything about it. So tell me the ups, the bolts, or whatever is going on with it, and where you two stand, starting with Senator Don Guardian. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So I see the need for cleaner energy that people are actually going to be able to afford in the future, but it's not just about a wind. Certainly, fusion is what the future holds, maybe not in our lifetime or our kids' lifetime, but that certainly is the cleanest form of energy. It's just not financially sound. I think hydrogen, clean, green hydrogen, makes a whole lot of sense. I think the fact that we have 40% of all of our energy coming from 3 plants in Salem County that are producing nuclear power is something that we need to continue, because that's the clean energy. You do have the waste, but everything else about it is clean. We'll never be able to afford new nuclear plants. I think what they're doing in Camden right now with mini nuclear reactors, similar to what they have in submarines, is the future to go. Small nuclear reactors, safe, goes down in the ground, takes less than a football field above it, is something that we can be using in our community. I like the fact that up north, Stevens Tech is playing with wave energy, trying to create hydrogen from the wave energy. I think that's something that we're supporting. In the past budget year, we actually approved the BPU to see if that makes some sense. We also have the BPU seeing if it makes sense on a residential neighborhood, if we can go down into the ground, pump water down there, bring it back up to heat our homes. So I think there are a lot of energy sources that we need to be looking at. Any of the new cleaner energy sources is not as cheap as gas is right now. I think we have to take that in consideration. Since it produces 50% of the energy now, gas, I think mixing hydrogen with it, what they're doing in 2 different areas, is something that we should be looking for. That's a short term, a 50-year fix right now. With the offshore wind, I see the new project is now 40 miles out, so you don't see it anymore. My concern with offshore wind, and I've said it over and over again, how much is it going to cost? How much is it going to cost taxpayers? How much is it going to be to produce energy? How are you making sure that the cables that are breaking when they're only 3 miles off of Rhode Island have cracked several times a year? So just give me the solutions to that. How is it affecting the fishing fleets that are out there? How is it affecting natural life? Come up with answers, and I've been meeting with the leading proponents of offshore wind and asking them for those energies. We don't have those questions answered yet. Once we have them answered, I'd be happy to be more specific on it. I did travel to Germany with a group from the United States looking at their offshore wind, as well as their wind projects that they have on their farms. So I'm familiar with the cost and what's needed there. I love the idea that we're going to be producing it in the western part of our state, in South Jersey. I think they're great jobs, good paying jobs. I'm certainly very supportive of that. I'm just concerned about what they're going to do off the shore here in South Jersey. Senator? Oh, I'll take it,
What he said. But so I'll take on the offshore wind aspect first. You know, in the original papers that were submitted by Ørsted, they indicated that tourism would be affected by 15%. That 15% of people said that they would not be visiting Cape May County if they were visible. Now it seems as of this week that this new project is going to be so far offshore that it's not going to be visible, but then it begs the question, how effective will it be? The longer the transmission, the least effective it will be. I truly believe that we need to diversify our energy portfolio, but I can tell you that we had so many questions that Assemblyman Guardian alluded to. How is this going to affect tourism? How is this going to affect our commercial fishing industry, which is one of the absolute lifebloods of the economy in Cape May County and South Jersey, and the economic multipliers in the hundreds of millions of dollars right out of Cape May County alone? How is this going to affect the recreational fishing industry? How is this going to affect the navigation of recreational watercrafts, just boats, people who aren't out there fishing, but who are just out there, who are people who are boaters in the state of New Jersey? Assemblyman Guardian touched upon something that I'm very passionate about, and that are called SMRs, made right there at Holtec in Camden City, small modular reactors. President Fiordaliso, may he rest in peace, of the BPU, admitted in a hearing that small modular reactors and nuclear energy in general is in fact clean energy. He said this on the record. So we should actually be looking at clean energy alternatives. What I can't understand is why the Murphy administration even said renewable natural gas, RNG, is something that's bad for our environment, when in fact it's not. It's renewable, hence the name RNG. And we can't have intermittent sources of energy. We see what has happened when we have intermittent sources of energy. What happened in Texas? People froze to death. What's happened overseas? And what I find it very interesting is while New Jersey is technically shutting down natural gas projects are being somewhat snuffed out. Just last year we had to ship liquid natural gas to Europe so that they would not freeze to death because of their sources of intermittent energy. So while I'm not 100% against offshore wind, I have so many questions that have yet to be answered, and all I'm told, it's sort of like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, we need to do this, we need to do this. Never mind the fact that there seem to be a whole lot of marine deaths that seem to be very odd. Nobody can tell me that, I know just because B follows A doesn't mean A caused B, and correlation doesn't mean causation, but we have a lot of questions that still have gone wholly unanswered about the radical amount of whale deaths, dolphin deaths, porpoise deaths that were occurring. And I can tell you from speaking to a lot of the commercial fishermen, they were seeing things that they had never seen in their 30-plus year careers on the water. There's something called clappers, that if you take the scallop boats, when they were taking up scallops, the shells are empty. There's folks that have been on the water 25-plus years that said they've never seen this amount in their lives. Something is happening. So I think, Assemblyman Guardian really hit the nail on the head. These questions deserve to be answered before we go all in. And we can't go all in on offshore wind while we have all of these wonderful other energy alternatives. I think it's just like what you would do with your personal financial portfolio. You have to diversify. That's why we need to make sure that we still keep nuclear. Look, the Salem nuclear plant, the economic multiplier out of that, actually just in salaries alone, I think is $180 million per year. That's just in salaries. The economic multiplier is far greater than that, employs so many people. I pray for South Jersey that we're not going to shut that down, because so many of my constituents actually work at the Salem nuclear plant. It's, we're talking about really good jobs that have great benefits, but the small modular reactor, that could be revolutionary for some of more of our rural communities where infrastructure is in fact an issue. And I think we need to really focus on a few things. Diversifying our energy portfolio with non-intermittent energy and upgrading our infrastructure, which is, I think everyone would agree, the infrastructure is necessary, that needs to be upgraded at this point in time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Questions? Anyone's got additional questions? That's it? Nobody? Going once? Going twice? All right.
Well,
At this time then, I will call my co-chair, Gina Sullivan, to provide some closing remarks. Gina?
Thank you, Marshall. My name is Gina Sullivan. I'm with the Elect 825. I'm also co-chair of the Government Affairs Committee with Marshall. I'd like to thank Senator Testa, Assemblywoman Swift, Assemblyman Guardian, and Assemblyman McClellan. We appreciate your time and availability, and thank you for the support that we continue to provide the dialogue between the business community and our policymakers. Again, we thank Dr. Barbara Gaba and Atlantic Cape Community College for hosting us today, and to our other sponsors for their support in this morning's program. As a reminder, if you're interested in engaging with the Government Affairs Committee, please feel free to speak to myself or Marshall. On behalf of the SNJDC, thank you for joining us this morning, and have a wonderful rest of your day.